to hear them. Anything you can think.
I would just add to your point right there.
Come on up, so they can get you on tape. Smile, you're on the Florida channel.
I'd just like to add to that. Normally in a regular, legitimate claim, the work is going to be done. Some companies are going to charge their deductible up front, some companies aren't. Mm-hmm. So there might be no money out of pocket to the owner that night that you're there in the middle of the night sucking up water, cleaning up a mess on a water damage claim, a real emergency claim. But you're doing that in anticipation that you're going to charge the insurance company a set, on some kind of set fee of pricing, either a list of prices or on Xactimate. If you understand how that works, what's going to happen is the insurance adjuster is going to come out to the home. They're going to be there within 3 days. The good companies are going to get someone there in the next 2 days to actually look at the company. The good companies videotape their jobs. They're not trying to hide anything. But then there's other companies that take pictures. The pictures can be easily manipulated. The meters can be manipulated. The humidity and temperature can be manipulated. It's just very easy to do. And there you go back to the classes. They teach you how to do it. So if you know how to do it, you know how to manipulate it. And a lot of the bad actors give everyone, the good people, which I consider myself to be a decent business person, a bad name. So you do the work, and then the adjuster comes out, they look at your bill. They have a range that they can pay on that square footage based upon the Xactimate software or on, what the market will bear. They have an idea what they're going to pay. A legitimate company they're going to say, okay, Matt, will you take $2,000 for this loss? And I say, okay, you're right in the ballpark. Sure, we can agree on that. Another company is going to say, I'll take the undisputed amount of $2,000, and then I'll have a lawyer on my assignment benefit go after the rest of the money. Mm-hmm. And then the insurance company, if they're hard, some of the companies are harder than others, they'll say, no, we're not paying this bill, and that's it. We're not paying it. Sue us. And then they'll either sue, or the unscrupulous contractor, water damage company, is going to go back to the homeowner and put a lien on their house. Then the homeowner gets scared, and I've seen this happen. I've seen this happen up to $15,000 for 3-bedroom flood. I've seen this $45,000 mold remediation bill. I've ripped out a whole commercial building for less than that. So, some of the bills are just outrageous. Mm-hmm. And then they strong-arm the people, threaten to turn them over to collections, whereas the good company is going to agree with the insurance adjuster on a price for the job. So that's when the real problems come, is when you have unscrupulous people that are overbilling. And I could name 5 companies right now. I don't want to do it on TV, but I say
I wouldn't advise that as a lawyer.
Case or something. But I can tell you that they have accounts receivable, because I've interviewed their ex-employees, of over $1 million. And we're talking about a business where $1 million is like a year's work for a lot of these smaller companies. So if you have a small company and you have this much accounts receivable, there's a problem. If you were any other kind of business and you said your gross revenue of sales is it bad debts accountable, it can't be that way. Because you just can't hold it. You are frauding, you're not pricing correctly, you're overcharging, and you're swindling people. Because there's no way that these companies can have all this bad debt accounts receivable. And then meanwhile, where you want to get back to the consumer, like this guy is the only one I heard mention the consumer, their house is still tore up. Mm-hmm. They're still walking on concrete slab. They don't have a kitchen. They don't have a bathroom. They've got kids. Everybody's using the one bathroom. The discomfort is on the consumer when the water damage company or the mold company and the insurance company fight.
Yeah, and that's what we're trying to get at.
If you want to really talk about solutions, the solutions are on the insurance company side. You just cap it out, just like they did with mold. When I started in 2004, there was no cap on mold. It was Katie Brother, we're going to plastic wrap the house, we're going to put all this equipment in, we're going to bring in the hygienists and all that stuff. Now there's a cap of $15,000 on most policies, or no mold coverage. Mm-hmm. So the consumer side, they're not as well protected, but the insurance companies aren't getting stuck with $50,000 and $70,000 mold remediation bills. And that's the difference. So if they put a cap on water damage, a lot of the water damage companies are going to go under, because they're not going to be able to support all the staff and all the Mickey Mouse games they play and all the other stuff. So if they cap the claims, they're going to go away. Just like they cap.
For the record, that's a guy from the industry, water remediation industry, telling you
that. Cap it at something ridiculous where you can't afford to hire someone to clean up the mess.
Yeah, I know.
There's a realistic limit. What I'm saying is, if you have a 2,000 square foot house, a 3,000 a 1,000. There's a realistic limit of how much money it should cost, given the market conditions, to dry out that house correctly. Not cut out all the drywall 4 feet up, all through the house, rip out all the cabinets for no good reason. There are reasons why you do that, mold, microbial growth, something like that. Prior damage is discovered. There's a lot of reasons why you would do that, but there are companies in this town, I know for a fact because I see their work, and they gut places on clean water floods. And it costs everybody a lot of money. And when you're trying to pay a $1,300 cash referral out of your pocket from the truck, from the service technician, that's how you do it. You have to rip out a kitchen. Because replacing a kitchen is $12,000 to $15,000. Remodeling a bathroom's, $4,000 to $8,000, depending on the bathroom. So how can they afford it? Look at the bills. The insurance companies know, the adjusters know which companies are the bad actors because they see the bill. You never get a bill that's $1,100. You never get a bill that's $900. All the bills are magically $3,500, $4,500 over the $2,500 or $1,000 deductible. Just look at the deductible on the insurance claim and then look at the bill and the square footage. It's that simple. I'm mad about it because I have to compete against these people. I'm perfectly honest.
No, I think that's legitimate.
And then I get people put me under a magnifying glass. Adjusters look at my bills. If I have a big bill, I can justify it. I can talk about it. I can defend it because it's legitimate. But a lot of these other companies, they're not.
No, and I see, and part of the reason for this working group is that many times what I see the next step for the insurance industry is a lot of times capping and reduced coverages and things like that. And while you're right, they're effective, they stop the loss, consumers still have experienced claims that are beyond, whatever that capping was or whatever that experience is. And I think what we're trying to do here is institute some changes that will stop this process so we don't get to the cut coverages and the two responses you can always count on from the industry, no disrespect, is cutting your coverage and increasing the price of it. And I think that what we want to see is some reasonable solutions that just kind of cut into these places that create a situation where it's just not as advantageous to someone who's trying to manipulate that bill.
The insurance company's already done. They have already had people take, you can save a couple $100 if you take a $2,500 deductible. It used to be $500, $1,000 was a standard deductible. Now I encounter every month, probably 20, 30 custom jobs a month we do. And I would say about half of them really can't afford a $2,500 deductible. And if they don't have that much damage, they don't have a claim, and they wind up paying out of their pocket.
No, I
that
agree.
is how the insurance company has eliminated a lot of the smaller claims. And those bad actors do not respond to calls that are 1 bathroom, 2 bedrooms, because there's no money in it. I can't pay $1,300 because I can't get it out of the customer. The only way I can pay that $1,300 is if I got an insurance claim. And I can tear something out. That's the only way.
Do you think that having, building the certification or who can respond, I mean, I know you think there's shortcomings in that, but when you're tying that to what types of services can be performed without a permit versus how do you think the permitting comes into this when we were talking about it earlier?
Permitting should be when you're rebuilding. It really should be when you're rebuilding. The only county that I'm aware of that enforces the asbestos test is Pinellas. In the other counties, they don't enforce it and nobody pulls permits for it or does the survey at all. But in Pinellas County, the construction board is very strong and they enforce it.
So it really depends on where you are in the
It's
state.
$10,000 fine. So a $10,000 fine gets your attention real quick.
That would get mine.
And I know people that have got that fine. So that really wakes you up.
Okay. I mean, I just,
So fining a sting, I talked to a man from Citizens about that idea, floating a sting. Just flood a house, have a contractor come in there, and then just have the Pinellas Sheriff there. Take them away. It's against the law. It's against the IRS code. If I give you $600, penny more than that, I'm supposed to report it. I'm supposed to 1099. Do you think any of these plumbers are reporting that on their IRS forms?
No, probably not.
No, they're not. And where does all the cash come from? Where's the cash at your CPA, I'm taking out cash to pay this referrals out of my business account. How's that work? You get that many cash customers paying you $500 to dry out a couple of rooms, that you can have this big stack of cash to pay out to get the big, literally buy the big claims. I don't get as many big claims as I used to. I don't have as many plumbers feeding their work because I don't pay them. I just don't. But
Okay.
a sting would be a newspaper story. I made a video on YouTube. I sent it to all the investigative reporters. You know what they told me? It has to come from a consumer, because you look like a jaded competition. I said, don't you understand it costs everybody more money? Don't you understand it costs everybody more in their premiums? Don't you know our premium has gone up? Even if you have Citizens, it keeps going up.
Okay, well, Lance is going to
So,
a YouTube video after.
I'm just saying, it's real. It's real a lot of money.
It's real because we're here talking about it.
Yeah, and the other thing is, like, you're ripping out someone's kitchen. That claim just went from drying out a kitchen for a few $100s to replacement cost. So I don't know which one of you are representing the insurance companies, but that's a big difference.
Oh no,
It's a big difference.
and that's why they're here, is because we want to do, again, two things become very apparent in the legislative process, is that you're never going to hit a home run with anything you do, but if you can take the members of an industry and all the participants therein and sit them at a table and say, okay, what can we agree that everyone can live with, and that would make a difference, which is really what we've tried to do. I think that once you take away some of the incentive for assignment of benefits, in the look, you have risk here, you can get an assignment of benefits, but you've got to put the insurance company on notice. They're definitely going to be there within 72 hours, is my bet, once they get that assignment of benefits notification. And then the consumer has the right to say, whoa, wait a minute, in that process. Now, what I would like to do, though, is revisit when you were talking about the penalty or fee or penalty. And then Darius had mentioned that. I think Kim was going to do some research on the fact that basically you don't want to do anything the first 72 hours then, because you don't know that you're not, if you put in that order for a cabinet or something, and then within 72 hours that's pulled. How do I make that reasonable? Because this is what I saw. And
well, it's not that you're putting in the order for the cabinet that quick. Normally when the customer changes their mind is when the customer just thinks they just won a lottery of some sort, when they get that check. And in the last 3-4 years, as the economy's really tanked, those checks and the amount of jobs that are signed up to be done and canceled when the check arrives, and they find out that the contractor's name isn't on it, they don't do the repairs.
Well, what about the mortgage holder? The mortgage holder's name's supposed to be on it too.
And to defend the assignment benefits, I use it just so that my name is on the check, because I've had people that you wouldn't expect, dentists, doctors, educated people normally, not middle class people, not working class people. Educated people say, before the assignment benefits came around, they say, Matt, you got paid too much money for this job, and we got to renegotiate the bill. So if I want to get paid in a timely manner, he wants a discount, or he wants his deductible back when he actually gets the money. Not that I said that this is how we're going to build the job. The insurance company gave me the money, and then the homeowner decides they want to renegotiate the bill after the work's done. And a lot of times that's 6 weeks to 2 months. One insurance company will be 3 months before you see the money when you do the work. Matter of fact, there's 2 insurance companies where I won't see the money getting paid for 3 months. They wait the full 90 days to pay the claim, settle the claim. And if they put the mortgage company on the check, it'll take another month to get it, because the bank will say, we physically need the check so we can look at it and smell it and sign it, and then we'll send it back to you. In the age of digital and internet banking and everything.
Yeah, where I can deposit my checks with a picture.
So I'll sign it, the homeowner sign it, we'll put the mortgage company, it'll mail off, and then you'll get a disbursement later.
I don't understand.
So the assignment benefits does protect me.
Yeah, that's why we're saying
now, I'm not
that we're good with
saying
it.
I'm going to pick out, marble countertops and, all this other stuff. I don't do that because I don't rebuild anything. But you could suggest to the insurance companies that one company does the dry out, another company does the rebuild, because that eliminates a lot of it real fast. Because I can tell you, from the inside perspective, a lot of the people that do this they're going to get paid off by the general contractor to pay that insurance. So part of that fee is collected or shouldered by the water damage company.
Yeah, I don't think that we can require that though because of the,
Well, I know I'm just saying
yeah.
it's possible.
And that's why on the assignment of benefits, I think
In
it
other
makes
states,
a big
it is that
difference.
way. In some states, it is that way.
That you can't do both?
You don't do both.
Really?
That's my understanding. And in some states, the company that cleans it up or removes it, they have a check and balance. Just like the mold companies, the company that cleans up the mold is not the one that checks the job. The assessor does. The assessor comes in and looks at it by the book. The assessor looks at it. A protocol is written by a hygienist. The company's paid to clean it up, and another company does the clearance testing. So in the same idea is you have one company that's cleaning it up, so there's no incentive to do a whole bunch more damage to the house because the profit isn't going to be in putting it back. You understand?
I'm willing to go investigate that. I mean, I think that would solve a lot of things. But
I've interviewed a lot of ex-employees, and they say, I'm going to make you a lot of money, Matt. I said, how are we going to make a lot of money? And they'll just go through all these little things. It's just all the scam insurance companies. It's just all little things. I could spend a whole hour on that. I don't want to waste all the time, but believe me, there is a lot of little things that you can do when you're the first person in a house and there's no videotape of the damage. Who's to say that was wet? Who's to say that was what? Because it's all removed. And when I'm the adjuster, I'm Matt the adjuster now looking at the job. It all looks right, but it's not right because it wasn't supposed to be removed in the first place. And why is that? Because we were eating a deductible for $2,500 and we have to put in so much more equipment, so we need that one extra room? Or do we really need to rip up that floor? Or can we dry that floor? So the profit incentive goes out.
okay. Well, Matt, I appreciate you coming up and talking to us. I'd like to investigate whether or not we could say you can't do both. Bill?
That sounds like a good idea. But the general problem with insurance fraud, I think we all know, what we're dealing with. I mean, it's obviously billions of dollars. He said it's a scam of the insurance companies. Actually, it's scamming consumers. And we end up paying, the insurance company. So, we want to fight it. The problem, though, is it's expensive and difficult to fight, and it's not very sexy. So they're off doing their other stuff. But in autos,